Welcome to another edition of the Pure Rock Show on 104.1 FM, KPPQ LP Ventura, also streaming on the MyTuner radio app. Special edition tonight, we have some guests in the studio that are also going to be performing live for us. Any idea who it is? Listen and find out. Here's some King's X. The mighty King's X on the Pure Rock Show. One of my favorite bands of all time. And I have to say, I just finished reading their biography that came out a few months ago by Greg Prado. Incredible book. What a story. I know a lot of you know King's X because I play them a lot and you request them. So you probably know their story, but I totally recommend the book. You find out so much information on their history, and it also goes album by album where they comment on every single song. Incredible. So, said at the beginning of the show, we had some guests tonight. Unfortunately, it's not King's X, but it's the next best thing. We have two members of the band Goldshimmer from L.A., and I was surprised and happy to see that they both know King's X and like them, which is always cool.
Oh, yeah.
So if you guys would like to introduce yourselves.
How's it going? I'm JD from Goldshimmer. Sitting next to me is...
Hey, I'm Mitchell. I'm guitarist at Goldshimmer.
And Jeff, you're the lead vocalist and tambourine player, it looks like?
Yes, sir.
Do you play any other instruments?
Yeah, I play guitar, I play bass, I play some drums, I play a little bit of keys.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But in the band, do you play all those different instruments too, or?
Not live.
Okay. Live, you lead singing?
Yeah, mostly lead singing and percussion seems
Cool.
to be the deal live.
So what's the story of Goldshimmer? I know you guys are based in L.A. You know, maybe if you can get a little history of when you started and, kind of what led you up to where you are today.
Yeah. Well, Jeff was definitely the one to bring us together. We found us all in different ways, maybe, 2.5 years ago. And it was definitely, we got going under a different band name as a different project. It evolved. Guys came, guys left. And was it last summer, we really kind of were able to say, here's who's part of this. Here's what we want to do. Here's our band name. And we put in the time to relaunch as Goldshimmer. So, last fall we released our debut EP, had shows lined up, and it's just been rolling since.
Cool. It seems like as of late, it's really picking up speed. You have a lot of dates planned, and you have a new single coming out and a video, which I saw a clip of, which looks really cool. And we'll get into, I got some questions about that, but how about we play the new single right now for everybody? And this is being officially released on what date?
The 22nd.
22nd. So a little sneak preview here for you, depending when you're listening to the show, on the Pure Rock Show. This is Goldshimmer and Night Heat. This is the Pure Rock Show, KPPQ LP Ventura, 104.1 FM. That was an LA band called The Doors you might have heard of. One of my favorite songs of theirs called Peace Frog from Morrison Hotel. And we actually have a double shot of LA bands there. The band before that was Goldshimmer, who are here with us in the studio. We were both all enjoying that tune. You guys big Doors fans?
Oh yeah.
You ever play them in concert live? Ever do covers?
We don't really do covers, but it's a good thought.
Okay.
Maybe we'll start.
Cool.
Yeah, maybe.
Cool. And so, what's it like to be a band in LA these days? I mean, you guys, you're playing out a pretty good amount. You're playing clubs. I know you're branching out of the LA area, but what's it like these days, in your opinion, to be an LA band?
Oh, it's really exciting. I think it's a really exciting time. I think that, we're finding a lot of things out really quickly on just, what it means to really support your local music scene and, being out, seeing people. And it's a way smaller scene than you think it is, but it reaches a lot of people. So it's exciting to be a part of something, I think.
Nice. Yeah. Just curiously, obviously, you guys are doing this on the side. You have jobs and everything. I guess my question is, how are you getting these gigs? Like, how does it work these days? I mean, you're building a following. Like, do you still have to knock down doors to these clubs, or do they hear about you and they ask you to play? Like, how does it generally work?
Osmosis. I'm just laying in my bed and I'm like, please. But yeah, I mean, it's just like I said, it's being around people. It's just going and showing your face and saying like, oh, I do stuff kind of like this too, and making friends. And we've been really blessed, this group, with getting things coming our way, and people just reaching out to us randomly for certain things.
Nice.
Yeah, the more you're out and playing, the more you're finding people reaching out to you to play. So it's just no trick to it other than people who want to get out and play, take action, get going, and get the ball rolling.
Mm-hmm. And so you have this new single coming out. So again, the new age here. I imagine you didn't pay $1,000 an hour for some recording studio. How are you guys recording your original music?
So we start off with just a demo. We create a demo completely on our own. Don't pay anybody, using our own gear, and then we really sit down and decide, okay, what can we record ourselves? What do we need to go into a studio to do?
So this new single, where did you record this one?
Almost all of it we recorded in our own little studios in our houses, this and that. The only thing we actually went to a studio to do were the drums and vocals.
Okay.
No, it was at the Dub Room in Santa Monica.
Okay. Yeah. Do you guys use Pro Tools, or is there something better than that these days, stuff that you do on your own?
We can. Logic seems to be the most compatible when we're working with producers and other people. Mm-hmm. So it's just easier to use Apple to send around.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when I work on demos and whatnot, it feels like GarageBand is like just the most user friendly.
Okay.
Just like when you want to write a song, you've got an idea, it can give you everything,
Mm-hmm. So have you had any big breaks, as you'd call it, like any recent milestones you feel that really moved you up a notch, either in terms of recording something or a big show or something like that?
I mean, being here. This is a dream come true.
Look at that. You heard it here on the great Pure Rock Show. 2 years strong. That's awesome. Well, I understand you guys want to perform an acoustic version of your new single, Night Heat, that we just heard. You guys ready to do it?
Let's do it.
Go for it.
Let's boogie.
Great job.
Thank you.
That's awesome. What was that song about? I'm kidding. Pretty easy to figure out.
Feelings?
Feelings, yes. It was a very emotional song. That was great. If you want my opinion, record the acoustic version. Yeah. I think that sounded awesome.
Oh, cool.
No offense to your other band members. Actually, if you want to give them a shout out, you want to tell us who else is in your band that is not here right now?
Yeah, we love you. We're missing Artoine right now, and Josh is our bass player.
Joshua Thornberry.
And what is Antoine, you said?
Artoine.
Artoine, what does he play?
He's our synth guy.
Gotcha. Love the synth, sounded good, but I love just the earthy, acoustic, more rockin' sound. That sounded awesome. I think you guys should do that as a B-side sometime. Very, very good. Again, we are here with Goldshimmer from LA. And what's your guys' website if people want to check you out?
Check us out at www.goldshimmerofficial.com.
And again, that song you just played is going to be your new single coming out soon. And I saw you have a clip of a video, too, which looked pretty humorous. Tell me about this video, the meaning of it, where it came from. Tell me about this video.
Well, I mean, I'll start it, I guess. The video itself was going to be a more literal take on the song. It was going to be very boogie nights. So we were just let's make a lot of crazy stuff happen in this house, this party. Mm-hmm. And then we started to realize, as we went on, we're that, it just didn't feel right. It didn't feel like that's not even really what the song's about. It has that essence, but it's not really what it's about. And then, just a lot of brainstorming, a lot of meeting with, Juan and Diego, who are Juan Sanchez and Diego Toussaint, really awesome director and producer duo. And so they just kind of really helped us narrow in on, something that we could really have fun with.
And how do you know those guys? How'd you get hooked up with them?
I did a project with them 2 years ago, a film project called Where's Tom? And from there, they had talked about, their school giving them a grant to do a music video. And we was just we'd be super interested in something like that. Mm-hmm. Couple months go down the road, we get a call hey, do you guys still want to do that? And just kind of happened to line up with what we had going on.
Is that your first video? Is this going to be your first video?
We did one last year, but this is our first kind of real high budget one that we're pumping and we're excited about.
Cool. I was going to say the first one that gets played on MTV, but MTV doesn't play videos anymore. So.
Right.
Where do people watch videos these days? At YouTube, I guess you'll have it on, or?
Yep, definitely be on YouTube. It'll be on our Instagram. All the places where videos are found online.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering if you can fill me on some new places. I just know of YouTube to go to, or Vivo, whatever. Is there any other place where independent band videos can be found? Do you know of?
I mean, Vimeo. Yeah, it's just other than YouTube. Mm-hmm. I mean, Instagram TV seems to be a thing. Mm-hmm. I've seen people put out videos on Instagram TV.
Interesting. Okay, cool. So let's get into some influences of you guys. Obviously, everybody's heard your music now. It has a little funk, flavor to it. And you guys want to talk about some of the first bands you got into, some bands that you're really into now, just whatever. Curious.
Yeah, well, it's cool being in a band where everyone seems to have their own influence, and it feels like a Venn diagram in a way, right? We all have the things that we're into with each other. So, for example, I think Jeff really loves funk, and I like funk, but like he really kind of got me into it. I'm more of like a rock guitarist.
Name some names. Guitarist bands you like.
Oh my gosh, guitarist bands I like. So I mean, I grew up in the Church of Page and Plant when I was a kid, for sure. But just everything in the classic rock, hard rock catalog is what I've always played in. But funk was something that I've always loved. Growing up, I listened to a lot of Al Green and Funkadelic, Parliament, those bands, but it was just never something I had the opportunity to do. And then when Jeff is like, hey, let's write funky stuff, I'm like, yeah. And then Artoine, again, I had never really got super into electronic heavy stuff, but yeah, he makes these kind of really funky patches or creates this ambiance in the background that's just like, oh, wow. Okay, this is a whole new ballgame.
Cool.
Totally.
How about you, Jeff? Where did you start out liking, and what are you into these days?
Man, I'll tell you, I'll never forget having a Casio CD player and begging my dad to buy me Now 19, right? I was like, Dad, please.
With Britney Spears on there?
Yes. And then I remember I got to track 14, and that was Feel Good Inc. by the Gorillaz.
Wow.
And I played it so many times, I broke it on the CD.
Wow.
And I just, from then on, that's been my favorite, musical endeavor is the Gorillaz. It's two guys, just one cartoonist and then, just one guy making all the music. And yeah, that for me just kind of kicked it off. And I grew up in a house where my parents met in a band and
oh yeah,
just surrounded by music.
A band anybody would know, or
Crimson Wave, for anybody who knows that band.
Are they an LA band or?
They were like Long Beach, back in the 80s, like hair metal stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
I never heard of them. They weren't signed to a label or anything, were they?
No.
Interesting.
They were in love, so it was more about the love.
Your dad was in a hair band?
Oh yeah.
You
wouldn't imagine.
No, his dad is nice and bald. It's pretty funny.
It happens. So I'm putting you on the spot, both of you right now.
Okay.
You have 2 minutes to think about it. You don't.
Gotcha.
Top 5 albums in your head right now. If you had to just have 5 albums in your possession, just right now.
Demon Days, Maggot Brain, Cowboys from Hell, whatever that
Pantera?
Yeah, that
Wow.
Pantera record.
Wasn't expecting that out of you. That's awesome.
One of my favorite bands of all time, for
Cool.
sure. Marvin Gaye, Inner City Blues, and then the last one, maybe Speaker Box. Yeah, Speaker Box and Love Below by. Oh my God, how am I?
Say, who are they by? I'm not even familiar with those.
Yeah,
Outkast.
Outkast. Thank you.
Okay.
Jeez, another one of my favorite groups. And just slipped out of my head.
And it's just to hear if you do an amalgamation of Pantera with any of those bands would be crazy to hear. All right, Mitchell.
Oh man, you went too fast. Of all time, let's see.
Not of all time, just right now.
Just right now,
Your
off the top of my
favorite.
head.
Yep.
Zeppelin 3 is always going to be at the top of my list.
I played Celebration Day last week on my show.
Nice. Let's see. Pink Floyd, maybe Metal. I think most underrated album of theirs. Got to go with A Night at the Opera.
Okay, some Queen.
Some Queen.
Nice. That's what I wouldn't expect out of Mitchell.
Really?
Yeah, seriously.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
dope, though.
Shoot. Just top of my head. Audio Slave's Out of Exile.
Nice. That
Big Chris Cornell fan. Love him.
Did you ever get a chance to see him live?
No, I never did, unfortunately.
He was definitely one of the best vocalists. I was very fortunate to see when Soundgarden got back together. It's probably like 5-6 years ago now. I saw one of their shows, and yeah, truly, definitely one of the best hard rock voices. They were one of my favorite bands of the 90s.
Oh, rad.
When Bad Motorfinger came out, I was in college at the time, played the heck out of that. I mean, that's just, to me, one of the best albums, mainly by his voice. I mean, pretty much unmatched.
Yeah, seriously.
Do you like the Soundgarden and as much as Audio Slave, or is that the one
I'm
that
one
really
of
did it for
those
you?
rare people, and I'm probably going to get some slack for this, but I actually like Audio Slave better than Soundgarden.
That's okay. It's a
I
solid
know.
band, too.
I know. But it's to my taste. I feel like they're more hard rock.
Did you listen to
Yeah.
his solo stuff at all? The stuff he was doing later in life?
Of course.
Yeah, we into that
it's
too?
heavy, yeah, sure.
Yeah, cool.
So, and then last one, top of my head, I've got to get Slash in there and go with Appetite for Destruction.
Ah,
It's
classic.
just- yeah.
Can't go wrong with that.
Yeah.
Have you guys run into any quote-unquote famous musicians in your travels in L.A. when you're playing? You know, either in the audience or sharing a bill with?
Yeah, we actually played at the Peppermint Club, and the band who played after us, the lead singer of that band was George Clinton's nephew. And so we didn't think anything of it. We're on stage and we're doing our thing, and then people come up to us afterwards like, "Oh, George Clinton was watching you guys play."
Oh, wow.
And we're like, thank God we didn't know.
Yeah.
Thank God we did not know.
Talk about a legend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty
It's
recently.
amazing you didn't see him with his stuff he does with his hair and everything. He's a
Yeah.
pretty noticeable guy.
Yeah, he had a big blue jacket on.
Okay.
I know. The only time I saw him was across a bar, and I was like, oh, yeah, that has to be him.
Wow.
That has to be him.
Nice.
A couple months ago, we played for Tommy Jenkins of Cameo. So that was Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool meeting him.
Yeah.
Really nice guy, really nice band.
Nice. Very cool. Do you guys, if you had your choice right now to share a stage with any current band that's playing that you could choose, that you think would fit your audience and fit your style of music, who would that be?
Oh, I think I got mine.
Both of you answer.
Should we answer at the same time?
No.
Yeah, I think mine is definitely Tame Impala. I think that would be a really fun split bill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, love that band.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. I was thinking Daft Punk.
Wow.
I think that'd be a blast.
Well, that'd be an interesting mix. Cool. Well, speaking of interesting mixes, I'm going to get back into the music right now.
Awesome.
And I mentioned this to these guys beforehand. It's by a very well-known classic rock singer, one of the all-time greats that I play a lot on this show. And this is a song that he had Bootsy Collins playing bass on. So I will not say who it is until after the song, so you guys at home can play along and identify the singer. We are listening to the Pure Rock Show on 104.1 FM, KPPQ LP Ventura. And we'll be back with Goldshimmer after this one, if you can figure this one out. Pure Rock Show, KPPQ LP Ventura. Thanks for tuning in. Here with the band Goldshimmer and Mitchell and Jeff.
Howdy, guys.
And we were just talking over that awesome song. First of all, it was The Game. And Jeff is the first one in the studio that figured out that was the Red Rocker, Sammy Hagar.
Oh, yeah.
With Bootsy Collins on bass, one of his favorite artists. And you were just saying when you saw them, you never actually saw Bootsy play bass when you saw him live?
No. And I love Bootsy. Let's just start there.
Yeah, we were just talking about Sammy's career, and that song came off of his 1997 Marching to Mars album, which is the album he released right after he was booted from Van Halen. And interestingly, that song was called Would You Do It For Free? And that all came from some quotes in the press that were going back and forth between Van Halen and him. Long story short, that was one of 4 songs on the album that were addressed to the Van Halen brothers. One was called Little White Lie, the big single about the Van Halen brothers lying about him, which was actually kind of funny. They said he had no work ethic. That's why they kicked him out. And we all see what happened in the last 20 years. Sammy has done, I don't know how many solo albums, probably half a dozen solo albums, 2 albums with Chickenfoot with Joe Satriani, a live album with The Circle, a brand new album with The Circle, and a zillion other things. What has Van Halen done? Van Halen 3 with Gary Cherone, and an awful live album with Dave, and a new album with Dave of all 30-year-old songs, and maybe like 3 tours in between there. So anyway, it's kind of interesting. And also in speaking, Mitchell just brought up, just wondering, if Sammy was never in Van Halen,
Yeah.
what would happen? What would his career look like today? It's a very interesting question.
I mean, so I love Van Halen. Van Hagar, I think they're a good band. I just have to think about them as a totally different band.
And they totally were. You're right. Totally
Right.
different.
But Sammy Hagar gets such a bad rap, but he was an amazing singer. I mean, just found out he sang that song we were just listening to when he was 22 years old and has had this incredible career. So why does he get such a bad name, do you think, around music?
It's interesting. First, it's very regional. You're being from California, Northern California originally. It makes sense. You would know Rock Candy by Montrose. That was his first band he was in, 1973, the first professional thing he ever did. And today, it is one of the most influential hard rock albums of all time. Every band cites them as an influence. I probably know about 25 different bands that have covered songs from that album over the years. I mean, it's incredible. Everything from Iron Maiden to Tesla to Lita Ford to everything. But anyway, he was like one of these you love him or hate him guys. He was always in your face. And, people either really liked him or not. Once he joined Van Halen, that's really when things splintered because, a lot of the hardcore Van Halen fans would never have accepted anyone but Dave. So, much different style. Sammy could actually sing live, which Dave never really could. Mm-hmm. Sammy brought a new melodic sense to Van Halen, allowed Eddie to write more melodic songs and use keyboards. I mean, that was going to happen anyway in the 80s. It started with Dave and Jump and whatnot. But I think he really polarized people just because people wanted Dave back in the band, and they just didn't like Van Halen being softer, which unfortunately he takes the bad rap, but really it's all Eddie. He was the one that, he's the one that writes the music. He's the one that wanted to write the ballads. He just now found a musical partner that could actually keep up with him and sing those things. But it's interesting, you know, musicians usually appreciate Sammy's vocals, especially. I remember reading many interviews, one especially with Billy Gibbons of ZZ Top. He was interviewed years ago about his favorite rock vocalist, and he mentioned Sammy. He's like, this guy can do anything. He can scream out the hard stuff. He can sing a ballad, and the guy's amazing. He's 72 years old, and he's still doing it. So that's my thought on it. But, you know, everybody that listens to my show know I'm a huge Sammy fan. So, so what else is going on? What else would you guys like to talk about? What's your next gig coming up? Or next couple gigs coming up?
Next gig we got going on, we're going to play in North Hollywood on the 22nd for a release party. It's going to be a real good time. If you want some details on that, you can go ahead and visit us at goldshimmerofficial.com,
Cool.
www.goldshimmerofficial.com.
Any little hints, if you can tell us, of what's going to be going on at the release party?
Oh.
Anything special planned for your audience?
Yes. Got lots of goodies.
All sorts of good stuff. Some of it you might have to just come and be surprised. But yeah, we've got other bands lined up. We're going to be playing our new video. It's going to start in the afternoon and go late into the night. So it's going to be a full day party. It's going to be a blast.
Wow. What's the name of the venue?
It's actually at a friend's house.
Oh, okay.
We decided to go with the house show for this one. So all inclusive. Everyone come on out.
Wow. So this is on your website, and this person doesn't mind any random Yahoo showing up at his door?
I don't know, Mike. Do you mind?
Mike is a random Yahoo.
That's great. That's great. So what else would you guys like to talk about? I know you got some touring coming up outside of the LA area. You want to talk about what that is looking like?
Yeah, well, we're pretty excited this summer. We've lined up shows all over California, and we're getting into Arizona too. So, like I say, the dates are on our website and on our Instagram as well, Goldshimmer Official. But we're going to be, after North Hollywood, we're going to be up in Northern California, in Sacramento, Oakland, coming back down to LA, San Diego, and then August we're getting into Phoenix and Jerome, Arizona. And we're
Jerome, I went to Jerome once.
Really?
You guys ever been there?
I've heard about it now. What's
That is
there?
a really interesting little town. It's like a little hippie town. The road to get there is amazing. You're going up and down canyons and stuff. And it's like it's like a little forgotten ghost town. And now it's like an artist colony. There's like glass blowing and little bars and
cool.
restaurants and stuff. How the heck did you guys get hooked up to play there? How did that come about?
Reaching out to venues and just say, hey, okay, we got booked in Phoenix this night. What's around that we can also play?
Wow, that's awesome.
Literally.
Have you guys tried playing in Ventura here? I don't think you've played here yet, have you?
No, we haven't, but I don't know why. Yeah, Ventura, Santa Barbara, SLO, kind of all these SoCal coastal towns we got to get to.
Yeah, I mean, definitely Ventura here. We got a bunch of really cool venues with bands all the time. So, yeah, you should definitely look to spread out here to Ventura. So we're going to get back into the music now. Another one of my obscure bands, which I always do every week to turn most people onto some new ones. Some of you freaks out there know them like I do. This is another one of my favorite bands called Lucy Brown. They only put out one album that was distributed by a major label. They were on Megaforce, distributed by Atlantic for this one particular one. Didn't really do anything. They got dropped. They put out an album on an independent label a year or two later. And then, unfortunately, the singer died. So nothing more to be heard of Lucy Brown. But I saw these guys live back then. They were opening up for a band called Masters of Reality. Have you guys ever heard of these guys, Masters of Reality?
Only in my nightmares.
They were an amazing band. Featured Ginger Baker, the drummer from Cream. The singer, Chris Goss, also played, I think he played guitar too. He's the one that actually produced Caius and Queens of the Stone Age, these guys.
Wow.
And these two Masters of Reality albums were awesome, just really heavy bluesy stuff. And I saw Lucy Brown play a show with them. The loudest show I ever went to in my life. I actually had to leave the room because my ears were hurting so bad. They were turned up way too loud for the room we were in. But anyway, this is Lucy Brown. They're originally from D.C., Rustic Overtones on the Pure Rock Show. And I stumped my in-house guest tonight with that one, Mitchell and Jeff. Never heard of that band before.
Nope.
What'd you guys think?
Loved it.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
I thought that was a really cool song.
I think you got an even better reaction out of the band before that I played, Lucy Brown, right?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Telling you, that's why I love doing this show. Two bands, Rustic Overtones, some of you out there probably know. Lucy Brown, maybe a couple of my buddies, but that's why I do this show. All these awesome bands that could be, 20, 25 years old, done, but they still have great music a lot of people never heard, so it's fun to turn people onto it.
Totally.
So we're here with Goldshimmer. Thank them very much for joining me tonight.
Oh, my gosh. Thank you. We so appreciate being here.
Yeah,
Seriously.
It's been a great time. I loved your performance, and everybody out there, follow Goldshimmer. They're all over the internet. Their new song is going to be released in a couple weeks. They got their release party and a bunch of dates coming up all over. So definitely cool stuff. I think we're going to close, and actually, in a few minutes, my normal closing cover tune of the night is going to be done live. This is going to be a first for the Pure Rock Show. We're having Goldshimmer perform the closing cover tune. So if you know the song, and I've been told songs they're covering, email me at radio@capsmedia.org, put Pure Rock Show in the subject line, and impress us with your musical knowledge. So for our last little segment here, we're going to talk about metal.
Oh, yeah.
I'd mentioned Lucy Brown, who I played before, opened up for Pantera on their Cowboys from Hell tour when they first came out, and Jeff got pretty excited about that.
Definitely.
And, we talked about the funk influences and other stuff, but there's a little metal in him, too. So talk metal. Who are you into?
Oh, man. When it comes to newer bands, Knocked Loose, Code Orange, they're driving the force of what I think metal is going to become, what it's going to keep going as. When it comes to just classics in general, I mean, obviously Pantera, I love. I went through a massive Metallica thing, I think like everybody did.
That's a good question. We talked about the quote-unquote new Van Halen before, which is 30 years old, but whatever. What is your stand on Metallica, pre- and post-Cliff Burton?
Oof. Yeah. Well, that's a big difference, I think, between the records.
Especially after Justice.
Yes. Absolutely.
But were you into the Load and Reload and things that have come after that?
I was. There were a couple tracks on some of those songs or some of those albums that I thought were really killer, and then give me a go, give me fire, give me.
Yeah.
Love that stuff, but some of the other ones just kind of fell flat for me comparatively to what they had done before. I mean, Enter Sandman and things that came later on were also really dope.
How about the last couple albums they did where they got back to their heavier, thrashier sound? Did you pick those couple albums out? Were you into those?
Yes. Yeah, I liked the one that had the tomb on it. I can't remember the name of it right now.
That was the second to last one, of course. Yeah. I can't think of the name right now either. But it's funny. I like the sound of those last two albums. Like, they sound great. They're produced well. It's old school thrash, and I feel like I should love it. But not much really ever stuck with me on those albums. It's kind of weird.
Right. Yeah, totally.
What's your opinion, Mitchell?
Oh, no, I was just shocked that you didn't know the name of it.
Yeah, you got me on that one.
We stumped you.
You did. All right, so favorite Metallica album, both of you. Just pick one.
Kill 'Em All.
I was about to say Kill 'Em All as well.
Wow, I'm impressed you know Kill 'Em All. I didn't realize you were that into the old school metal. That's great.
I'm not as much as Jeff, but yeah, of course I know the classics.
I think I would pick Ride the Lightning. That was the first one I ever bought from them when it was out. And I just like it's a little more produced than Kill 'Em All. I mean, obviously I love Kill 'Em All too, but Ride the Lightning for me, and Master of Puppets is right up there. I mean, you can't go wrong with any of the Cliff Metallica.
Right.
Yes.
Even the Garage Days revisited that first EP they put out of the covers. Did you guys ever hear that one?
I've heard of it. I've never listened to it.
It's talk about being produced well. They'd cover the Misfits' Last Caress and Green Hell on there. It's just amazing. That's what they were promoting on the Monsters of Rock tour, 1988. Van Halen headlined. Scorpions, Dokken, Kingdom Come, and Metallica played that show. And that was right after Cliff died. Jason had just joined the band, and they played a new tune from that their forthcoming Justice album on that tour. But anyway, we digress. So how about 90s metal? Were you into any 90s metal?
Oh, yeah. I think that might be.
I mean, you said
favorite.
Pantera, but were you into Slayer or Sepultura, anything like that?
Way more Sepultura.
Nice.
And I loved the it had that jungle element. It had still a lot of heavy percussion as well.
The Roots album, Roots, Bloody Roots.
I love that record.
Wow. All right, so you're gonna get some of this metal influence into Goldshimmer here, or is that just all in the past?
Yeah, I played in a touring metal band for a while, and what do you think, Mitchell? You want to tune it to drop it and kick it up a notch?
Hey, you're talking about alternate tuning. That's where I started from.
Have you guys ever heard of a band called Puya?
No.
Puya? You have to check those guys out because it's pretty much what you just described. It's kind of like a funky type element, but then they'll just do some thrash stuff. It's kind of like a mix between Sepultura, I want to say a little Korn. I mean, it's really interesting, but a lot of rhythm and percussion and stuff.
But truly, we are in a day and age of just meshing genres and trying out things that shouldn't work. I mean, there's more hip hop metal than there's ever been.
Right. Totally.
And just it's just if it sounds like, oh yeah, let's combine our funk and rock and electro influence with metal. It's yeah, let's do it. Just all ideas are on the table.
Yep, exactly. No, it's cool. And actually, I was so into those bands. And you talking about what you just described reminded me of the 90s. Anthrax and Public Enemy doing Bring the Noise.
Oh, yeah.
And all these other bands I loved, like Mordred, Faith No More, obviously, all this funk metal, Shooty's Groove. I play that a lot of that type of stuff on my show. But yeah, I thought that was great. It never really took off to be huge. It really only lasted a few years. But it was just so creative, blending all those different styles. So
Oh, yeah.
that's what I want to see out of you guys. I want to see a funk metal tune at some point.
A newer metal group, hip-hop metal group out of Texas, really awesome. My good friend Jake was working with them for a little bit. They're called Unity, Unity TX.
Mm-hmm.
Really awesome. They have like a rap frontman, but with like all heavy back. Like,
Nice.
You know what I mean?
Are they signed to a label, do you know? Or are they...
Not that I know of. So
Okay.
Go check out Unity.
Cool. All right, guys, and listeners out there, it's that time of the show I know you all wait for with bated breath. What is going to be the closing cover tune this week, and will I know it? And tonight it's going to be performed live by Jeff and Mitchell from Goldshimmer. It's going to be a little bit of a medley, so listen carefully, write down any original artists you hear, and email me at radio@capsmedia.org. Excellent. I think I have to say that is the best closing cover tune medley ever played on the show. That sounded awesome, guys. Wow.
Sweet.
You got the blues in you, too.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely diverse, man. Love to see a show of stuff like that, too. Man, you guys can do all different type of nights. That's
We've
awesome.
talked about it.
Yeah, we have. Yeah.
Well,
Acapella sets.
seriously. No, you guys sound great. So, Jeff, Mitchell of Goldshimmer, thanks so much for joining me. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely.
Thank you to the Pure Rock Show. It's been a pleasure being here.
Great,
Absolutely.
great. Hope to have you back anytime. You're always welcome. And everybody out there, check them out online. Hopefully you can check them out live in L.A. or Jerome, Arizona if you're out there. And thanks for listening to the Pure Rock Show as usual. On every Tuesday night at 7, Wednesday at 5, and Sunday at 5 here on KPPQ LP Ventura, 104.1 FM, and streaming worldwide on the great MyTuner radio app.